Hello, today I'll be teaching about ancient Rome. Rome was founded on April 21st, 753 BCE. It's believed that two brothers, Romulus and Remus, who were raised by a wolf named Lupa, founded the city. They got into an argument over who would rule. Romulus killed Remus and named the city after himself, Rome. The next king was Pompilus in 715 BCE. He was responsible for creating the religious calendar and early religious institutions. He was supposedly a peaceful and tranquil man. He died in 672 BCE. In 672 BCE, Tullus Hostilius increased Roman population and militia through wars. He founded the Senate chambers, which were named Curia Hostila, after him. He founded the Comitum, which was the meeting place for the popular assembly. He died in 641 BCE. In 642 BCE, Ancus Marcius became the fourth king of Rome. He was responsible for the expansion of Rome from Tiber River to Janiculum Hill. He also founded Rome's first port. In 616 BCE, Tarquinius Priscus became king. He was first a guardian of the sons of King Ancus Marcius. When Ancus died, Tarquinius took his place. He constructed the first wall around Rome and built the first sewer in Rome, the Cloaca Maxima. He was killed by the son he used to guard, Servius, and he became the new king shortly after Tarquin died in 578 BCE. 578 BCE, Servius Tullius becomes king. His husband was the daughter of the king before, who he murdered. He started the system which divided citizens into classes by wealth. He launched the earliest and most important shrine of Diana, the goddess of hunting and nature. He was killed by his daughter and her husband, who had become the new king. He died in 534 BCE. In 534 BCE, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus becomes the new king. He killed his wife's father just to become king. That was the start of his cruel reign. He killed many senators, and his son Sextus raped a noblewoman. His favorite way of killing those who displeased him was placing a wooden box on their head and putting them in the sea. He'd slowly throw stones on their head until they could not bear it and would sink. This way he could claim that he did, but it was the man's weakness that killed him. In 509, they overthrew Tarquin and ended the monarchy because they saw the evil of Tarquin's way and did not want this to happen. So the Republic started. Lucius Brutus, who actually played a part in the kicking out of the Tarquins from Rome, established a republic of elected officials. There was a representative government. The power from the monarch passed to two consuls who acted as chiefs of the militia. Lucius was a consul until he died in battle, killed by Tarquin's own son. In 450 BCE, the 12 tables were created. The first Roman law code, called the 12 Tables, was written on 12 bronze tablets. Judgments were made by rich citizens. These tables included legal procedures, civil rights, and property rights. In 312 BCE, Via Appia, Rome's first highway, was built, extending from southeast Rome to Tarentum and the Adriatic coast. This highway united Rome. In 264 BCE, the Punic Wars. By the time the war started, Rome controlled the entire Italian peninsula. In this war, Rome fought with Carthage 3 times. Rome defeated Carthage and sold their prisoners of war into slavery. By the end of the Punic Wars, Rome had a full military. 107 BCE. Gaius Marius was a Roman general and a consul 7 times. He proved that political support could come from old army veterans for votes. Gaius was brave, strong, and skillful. 73 BCE, Spartacus Rebellion or Slave Rebellion. With the increase of land, Rome gained more slaves and gave them harsher conditions, and it got worse after this rebellion. Spartacus, a slave, led the rebellion, but it resulted in thousands of slaves being killed and captured. 60 BCE, the first triumvirate is formed. Julius Caesar, Crassus, and Pompey formed a power of three in Rome. Pompey and Crassus were not on the best terms, but Julius Caesar decided to form an alliance and friendship between the three. They would split Rome among themselves. 47 BCE, Julius Caesar becomes elected dictator. He was the son of Gaius Caesar, one of the world's greatest military leaders. As a consul, Julius conquers Gaul, defeats Crassus and Pompey, becomes the sole dictator of Rome, invades Egypt, makes Cleopatra queen, and gets assassinated. 44 BCE, Julius Caesar's death or assassination. The dictator and first of Rome was killed in 44 BCE when 60 senators came together and to kill him due to a conspiracy. When he entered the hall, he was stabbed by all of them, including his own brother-in-law. This was the story behind the saying, "You too, Brutus." 43 BCE, second triumvirate is formed. After Caesar's death, Lepidus, Mark Antony, and Octavian agreed to rule together. They also split the provinces among themselves. Octavian had control over Africa, Sicily, Sardinia, and Italy. Lepidus had control over Gaul and parts near Spain. Antony controlled the eastern parts of Greece and Egypt. 30 BCE, second triumvirate is destroyed. The members became jealous of each other and went to war with each other and their armies. In 36 BCE, Lepidus was defeated by Octavian, and Antony and Octavian fought. And Octavian defeated Antony with his new wife Cleopatra. They fled. By 30 BCE, Octavian would be sole ruler and Cleopatra and Antony would commit suicide. 27 BCE, Octavian changed his name to Augustus Caesar. He was the founder of the Roman Empire, and he was the first emperor of Rome. Adopted son of Julius Caesar, and he killed the killers of his father and the other two members of the trio. He was responsible for the Pax Romana, a period of peace in Rome. He died in 14 CE. 41 CE. Claudius bribed guards to become emperor. During his reign, he conquered Britannia. He built 2 aqueducts. Romans perfected the arch, which was major in architecture. He married his niece, who convinced him to give her other son, Nero, that was not by him, the title of emperor. He was killed by his niece/wife. He died in 54 CE. 54 CE. Nero becomes new emperor. Nero burned the city just to build his own pleasure palace. He then blamed the Christians for the crime, which is why most of them were killed. He then built the palace over most of the public land and used public money. His style of ruling earned him the title of the Beast. He killed his own mother because she didn't approve of his relationship with Poppaea Sabina. He died in 68 CE, which was a huge relief for the Roman Empire. 68 CE. Nero is overthrown due to his greed and selfishness. His own guards killed him. He made Roman lives torture and burned their shelter. 69 CE. Vespasian becomes emperor. Before him, Nero had no one to take the claim of emperor, so there was a set of wars to determine the emperor. Vespasian won and became emperor. 72 CE. The construction of the Colosseum was seen to by Vespasian. He used Rome's most skilled architects to fill Nero's lake and used the land to fill the Colosseum. Jewish slaves had to do the hard work. 80 CE. The Colosseum is built. The 160 feet tall structure was finished, but after Vespasian died. His son Titus carried it out after him. At the Colosseum, animals were killed, prisoners executed, gladiators fought, and there were even naval battles using water from Nero's old lake pipes. 104 CE. A new emperor, Trajan, reigns and orders Nero's palace to be destroyed to diminish any memory of Nero. 112 CE. Trajan builds a forum, which is a giant meeting place. It had a huge library with Greek and Latin text. It was also a market with merchants and had all his victories depicted. Center meeting place. It had a huge library with Greek and Latin text. It was a market with merchants and depicted all of Trajan's victories in war. 117 CE. Hadrian becomes emperor. He was very generous. He helped the military by building forts and reforming it. He protected people and let children inherit land. He even repaired buildings for the public. He died in 138 CE. 122 CE. Hadrian builds Hadrian's Wall, and if that wasn't enough to deter them, he added 20 feet of ditches to make sure that no one could cross. 285 CE. Rome split due to a decision made by Diocletian to help emperors rule more effectively. There was to be one emperor for the east and one for the west. 306 CE. Constantine becomes the new emperor of Rome. He was the first Christian emperor of Rome. He spread the new religion throughout. He defeated Maxentius due to a vision sent by God. He grants legal rights to Christians and makes them citizens. He declares religious freedom and allows Jews to be in the council. He made Christianity the sole religion of Rome. In 324 CE, he changed the capital to Constantinople. He died in 337 CE. 476 CE, the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. 30 years after the death of Constantine, Rome split again. The Eastern Roman Empire was at war with Persia, but would continue to thrive, while the West was losing funds due to constantly going to war and due to internal conflict. Germanic tribes slowly took over Rome by conquering Britain, then Spain, then Northern Africa, Gaul, and Italy. And lastly, a Germanic prince named Odovacar gained control of the Roman military and forces. That was the fall of Rome. My bibliography. I used TimeToast.com, Crash Course, Britannica.com, History.com, and I used Padlet to make a timeline. These websites have, if you want more information, have reliable information.